All right, good afternoon. It is 1:30, and we are call this meeting to order. So I will turn the time over to Jen for roll call.
John Flansburgh.
Here.
Casey Menser.
Here.
Eric Crum.
Here.
Michael Drinkwater. John Enlow. Bill Hauk.
Here.
Danielle Henderson. Chris Melton.
Here.
Mylin Nguyen.
Here.
Donna Noel.
Here.
Cara Steelan.
Here.
Michael Widmer.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. And just before I turn into public comments, I just want to welcome Donna Marie here. Welcome to the Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission. And we also recognize Donna Noel Sherman, who is assisting you. And last meeting, we had the opportunity to welcome Chris Mixon. So appreciate the participation of the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe. Thank you. And now we'll take time for public comment. Jen, do we have any public comments?
I don't, but I need to read a statement for the Zoom.
Please do.
Okay. For telephone-only participation, dial 1-669-900-6833 and enter the meeting ID 826-2797-4757, followed by pound. Please mute and unmute phones by dialing *6. To sign up for public comment in person, complete a public comment card and submit it to the clerk. In the Zoom platform, raise your virtual hand icon. If attending by phone, dial *9 to notify the clerk. Note that dialing *9 both raises and lowers the virtual hand.
All right, thank you, Jen. All right, we'll move on to item number 3, which is the approval of the agenda. I have a motion to approve from Commissioner Melton.
Widmer seconds.
Commissioner Widmer seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Item number 4, approval of the minutes from the February 5th, 2025 Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the February 25th meeting as presented.
Commissioner Crump, motion by Commissioner Crump. Do I have a second?
Widmer seconds.
Second by Commissioner Widmer. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 5, action, discussion, and possible recommendation to the Western Region Water Commission for approval of a scope of work and funding not to exceed $160,000 from the Regional Water Management Fund for Raftellus to provide financial consulting services for Phase 1A of a feasibility study on regional planning and management of wastewater utilities and effluent disposal. Kim.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the Commission, it's my pleasure to present this item today and to recap for our new members where this is coming from. Back in May of 2024, the Western Regional Water Commission requested that the Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission develop recommendations for a more regional approach to wastewater planning and management in the planning area. After holding several workshops with the Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission, a working group was developed with representatives from the City of Sparks, Washoe County, Reno, and Tumwa. And we developed a solicitation, a request for proposals to go out and solicit proposals for primarily firms that have experience in community planning, financial management, and engineering background. Based on the solicitation, we received a proposal from Raftellus, is a financial consulting firm with the appropriate experience. And we interviewed Raftellus, the interview committee, and there was a lot of discussion back and forth and some feedback on refining the scope of work and budget for that proposal. An amendment was submitted by Raftellus, which is included in your agenda packet. And so today the focus will really be on presenting what's in that amendment to the proposal. We are looking for a recommendation to the Western Regional Water Commission to approve the scope of work and funding not to exceed $160,000 for Phase 1A of the feasibility study. And with that, I'd love to turn the time over to Mr. Zach Green, who is the Raftalis Project Manager, and John Mastraccio, who is also the Raftalis Project Director. They're here to present the scope of work to the board.
Thank you. Kim, can you guys hear me okay?
We can, thank you.
Okay, great. And you have the slides up?
They are, we're gonna transition right now. There we go.
Okay, great. And I'll provide direction when to advance the slide. First, just to introduce myself, and I want to thank the chairman and the commission for providing us with the opportunity to present our proposal and the amendment. I thought I'd start by telling you a little bit about the firm. You can advance to the next slide. So for those of us that aren't familiar with Raftalis, we're a management consulting firm laser focused on the water sector and local governments. So we have really deep expertise in water, sewer, and stormwater consulting. We are not a design engineering firm, although we have a lot of engineers and accountants and kind of a mix of skill sets on staff. What we really focus on is helping these organizations thrive, and we do that in a number of ways. So some of our core services include finance, strategic planning, organizational assessments, including regionalization assessments like this one. We also focus in other utility services like solid waste, executive recruiting, communication services, technology support, and stormwater I mentioned. We work across the country. We have over 180 consultants. We've worked with 1,700 public agencies and utilities across America. You can go to the next slide. So for this project, we've put together a team that includes myself and John Mastraccio, who's also here with us, as well as two sub-consultants. So one of those sub-consultants is Zanjero. They're based in the Sacramento area of California. They are experts on Western water rights, and the individual who will lead the effort from their side is Gwen Mortully, who's actually an attorney as well. So they bring expertise on sort of water rights and the legal aspects of governance and other issues that are very relevant to this project. We also have an engineering partner, that's Jacobs. Dylan Menace is in Reno, right in the Truckee Meadows. He's the project manager for Jacobs, and we would expect that possibly in future phases, there'd be even more involvement from Jacobs as infrastructure questions come up. In addition to the individuals that you see here, we have a large breadth and depth of staff with expertise in relevant areas of utility operations, finance and rate setting, governance, technology, communications, reclaimed water, hydraulic modeling, and more. So we've really tried to put together a team that is specifically tuned to what this project requires. Next slide. So what is this project about? So overall, based on the RFP that was issued, the goal is to determine whether the benefits of deeper regionalization warrant further in-depth analysis. Regionalization can be shared services and collaboration, or it can be as intensive as organizations coming together through something like a consolidation. Within that, there's a bunch of I think, key questions. So, what are the major regional challenges and the primary motivations for exploring this? And that is what Phase 1A that we'll get to in a minute really focuses on. Other aspects of that are sort of making sure that staff of the utilities and the commissions and the elected officials who want to engage in this effort are aligned on their vision for what can be accomplished through regionalization. There's also a question of, which services would benefit the most from regional alternatives. So should the effort really focus on reclaimed water? Is it more just on core, wastewater effluent? Stormwater, there's a lot of different areas where this study could focus. And so I think through the first phase that we hope to engage on, we'll be able to clarify that. And then the question is, what are the regional alternatives that will provide the most benefits? And what is the feasibility of sort of pursuing those? And so the approach that we'll lay out in the coming slides will explain how we'll kind of walk through answering those questions. Next slide. At a high level, the proposal that we've laid out goes through sort of a first phase and then potentially could advance to future phases. So where it says task 1A, that should say phase 1A. But that's really what we're here to talk about today. And that's identifying what are the specific challenges that you're trying to overcome and what are the objectives that regionalization should focus on. I'm not going to talk as much about the other phases, but I will just briefly introduce them here. So once we've identified the challenges and objectives, we'll then need to sort of white space on what are some of the regional alternatives that could address those. And then we'll need to prioritize those possibilities. From there, a shorter list of alternatives would be evaluated in more of a deep dive review that would look at the feasibility of implementing them. And then from there, I think our work would probably pause, and it would be up to the regions to decide whether they want to proceed. Once that decision is made, it's possible that there could be sort of areas of granular analysis that need to be revisited as part of implementation efforts. But our study, sort of phase 1A, 1B, and 1C, is about identifying if there is indeed a viable alternative to pursue. Next slide. So as I said, we've kind of chunked this out into phases. And so phase 1A initially is about documenting the challenges and identifying the objectives of regionalization. And we'll be developing a report that documents each of those with respect to regional wastewater management and associated services. Phase 1B, again, is about the short list of alternatives. Phase 1C is evaluating the short list. You can go to the next slide. Just want to zoom in a little bit on phase 1A. So this is the contract that you guys are evaluating today. So what this would involve is an intensive information gathering and review first step. And really that will be based on existing documentation that's provided to us by the commissions and utilities involved. A kickoff meeting with the study working group that I understand has been formed, and then interviews with members of the commissions and the utility staff and board members. So there's obviously a lot of organizations involved here. There's a lot of information to digest across, effluent management, reclaimed water, and all these various areas. And so we envision this being quite an intensive data review and direct in-person engagement, as well as virtual sessions to really understand the challenges in the region and figure out how we want to kind of focus this study. So once we've reviewed all that information, we will analyze it and sort of zoom in on and digest what we think the key challenges and objectives are, and then come back to the study working group to facilitate a workshop that will provide an opportunity to kind of discuss the interview findings, gather a little additional feedback, and make sure that we're interpreting what we heard and what we've reviewed correctly. And from there, we would issue our draft and final report and presentation. And what the phasing really allows us to do is to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to decide how deep, you want to go on this and whether the opportunity, really appeals viable and meets your expectations. And so that's why we're happy to submit this proposal that will just focus on phase 1A initially. You can go to the next slide. This is an estimated timeline for phase 1A, and it's based on our conversation in initial interviews after our initial proposal was submitted. The thought is that this could take anywhere from about 6 to 9 months. The reason for that is because of the amount of information that we'll need to review and the number of conversations that we want to have with your teams. This will allow us to sort of phase the information, a kickoff period, information gathering, review, the workshop that I mentioned, and then deliverables with iteration leading up to a final deliverable. We know that you guys have a regular meeting, the commissions hold a regular meeting in November, and we would expect that it's possible that our final presentation could be around November 2025. Next slide. That's all I have for you today. John and I are happy to take any questions you have about the amended scope.
All right. Thank you, Zach, for the presentation.
Sure.
And just some background. I first became acquainted with Raf Tellis when I was working on looking at rates and how those go together. And Raf Tellis's major, they kind of wrote the textbook, if you will, on rate setting in the nation, and we're working both with the American Water Works Association and Water Environment Federation. So they have, what they talk about, they do have a breadth of experience. So just share that with the group from my background in working with them. Back to the item at hand as it relates to the scope of work and funding, are there any questions from the members? And I can't see those that are virtual, so Jen, if you'd let me know if anybody's got their hand up.
Okay.
Any questions in here? All right. That's a really quiet group today.
I'd give it one more second.
Okay.
We're adjusting to using a new Zoom webinar format. And
Okay.
I want to make sure our staff is.
Make sure everybody's getting that opportunity to
see.
Nothing.
participate.
Okay.
There's nothing.
Okay. Well, with that, and I'm just going to back up just one more step. Western Region Water Commission had asked for the Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission, their technical advisory group, if you will, to look into the benefits of regionalization of the wastewater utilities, Reno, Sparks, Washoe County. We brought Tumwai in as well because they went through a consolidation process with Washoe County on the water, and that's how we got to where we are. So with that, and if there are no questions for Zach or John, I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to, I'd like to recommend to the Western Regional Water Commission for approval of a scope of work and funding not to exceed $160,000 from the Regional Water Management Fund for Raf Tellis to provide financial consulting services for Phase 1A of a feasibility study on regional planning and management of wastewater utilities and effluent disposal.
Thank you, Commissioner Mincer. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Crump, I have a second. Any discussion on the proposal, on the question? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries. Thank you. We will move on to item number 6. Action, discussion, possible recommendation to the Western Region Water Commission regarding reappointment of Michael Widmer as the domestic well owner, Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission member. Kim.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the commission, Kim Rigdon for the record. Turn my microphone on. I'll repeat that, Kim Rigdon for the record. Member Widmer was initially appointed to the WRWC as the domestic well owner. I can't talk today. My tongue is tied. I apologize. Originally, he was appointed by the Western Regional Water Commission on January 15th of 2020, and then reappointed on March 16th, 2022. There was a clerical error in the staff report, so I just wanted to let you know that it was March 16th, not March 21st. It says March 21st in the staff report. Mr. Widmer's position needs to be reappointed. It expires on the 31st of March this year, and Mr. Widmer has expressed that he is very interested in continuing to serve the Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission for an additional term as the domestic well owner representative. And Mr. Chairman, I'll turn that back to the commission for discussion.
Thank you, Kim. Michael, Commissioner Widmer, we appreciate your willingness to serve, so thank you for that. Any discussion on this appointment by the members of the commission? Do I have a motion for this action item?
Sure. I'll move to recommend Michael Widmer to the WRWC for reappointment to the Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission as the domestic well owner representative.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Crump. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and a second from Commissioner Melton. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously.
Well, thank you for your trust.
All right. We will then move on to item number 7, program manager updates, and turn the time over to Kim.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the Commission, Kim Rigdon for the record. I just wanted to take an opportunity to provide a few updates on recent activities of the Western Regional Water Commission. This board approved the tentative budget in February, and the WRWC also approved the tentative budget in their February meeting, so that has been submitted to the state for approval. The WRWC also approved the good standing scope of work and budget to assist the Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission and Western Regional Water Commission on website content development, as well as looking at developing a framework for our How Water Works video education that we want to do with the board. So that was approved. They're very excited about that and have been requesting staff do a lot more on our education piece. So this is a really exciting part of our education piece moving forward. They also approved Hansford Economic Consulting scope of work to help us with the financial analysis that's included in the Regional Water Management Plan update. And with that, there's a couple of other, UNR, Nevada Water Innovation Institute, Dr. Laura Hack, has been assisting staff with reviewing Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and Chapter 7, which are the utility sections and population projection sections, to extract out of the plan data and information that can be incorporated into a web tool and updated more regularly than our 5-year review and update of the Regional Water Management Plan. So that has moved forward. She's identified areas of where that data and information can be incorporated into the effluent management tool, as well as the online digital plan tool that we're developing with the Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency, and we've had a few meetings for that. It's very exciting moving forward. With that, with the existing professional services agreements in place and the assistance that we're getting from Nevada Water Innovation Institute, we have all the pieces in place to really start moving forward with the getting in the weeds of the Regional Water Management Plan update. We are in the process of transforming the policy section, not for content, but for visibility and presentation. And we will be working with the Water Planning Commission members and sending those out, piecemealing them, because 30 policies can be overwhelming at once. We've categorized them in a topic area numbering system. So for example, if it's a water supply policy, it would have a WS in front. We wanted to follow the lead of the Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency. So it's somewhat intuitive when you're looking at the policies, what topic area it applies to. And with that, I just wanted to let the Commission know that we're moving forward. We will start agendizing the Regional Water Management Plan schedule and updates and review needs to the Commission moving forward at our regularly scheduled meetings, if that's okay with the board. And that's what I have. Thank you, Chairman.
Kim, thank you for that report. Any questions from the members of the Commission? We look forward to diving into the Regional Water Management Plan. That is our most important work we do here, is that 5-year plan and making sure we're all going in. We understand the plans of the different groups and we're all coordinated together. So appreciate that. Any questions or comments for Kim? Seeing none, there is no action on this item, so we will move to item number 8, discussion and possible direction to staff regarding agenda items, meeting dates and locations for future Northern Nevada Water Planning Commission meetings. Kim.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the Commission, Kim Rigdon for the record. We do not have, if it's okay with the Commission, an April 2nd meeting on the schedule. We'd like to cancel that meeting. We have quite a few staff of ours on vacation that week and the week after. There's no pressing items for that meeting, so if the board is okay, our next meeting will be May 7th here in the Washoe County Chambers at 1:30. At that meeting, we will be holding officer elections for the chair, vice chair, and I don't think we have a secretary-treasurer on this one. I think it's just the two. We also have the Cold Springs Water Balance Model and Report presentation on the schedule for that. as well as UNR will be doing project updates and coming to present the next 3-year scope of work and budget for that regional water management coordination piece that they assist the Water Planning Commission with. Before they come with that, we just received a draft today. I was hoping to be able to distribute that, but I'll distribute that over the next couple weeks for some of the board members to review before we bring it to the commission for approval. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Now, it sounds like we will have a pretty good meeting. Are there other items, though, that the commissioners would like to have brought forward to the commission in the May 7th meeting? Not seeing any interest here in chambers. How about virtually? Anyone virtually? Is there any items that you would like to see brought before the commission in our May 7th meeting? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion for setting the next meeting for May 7th, 2025 at 1:30.
So moved.
Commissioner Crump, motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second from Commissioner Houck. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay. All right, motion carries. Our next meeting will be May 7th, 2025, 1:30 in the Washoe County Commission chambers. With that, we'll move on to item number 9, commission comments. Do we have any comments from the commissioners? This is like one of the quietest meetings we've had for a while. So, all right, none from the commission. Do I have any staff, moving to item number 10, any staff comments?
Chair, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner Crump.
And we may have to open item number 8. This could fall under that, but I was just maybe bring something back if we're aware to Ms. Rigdon. If we're tracking or aware of any potential impacts from some of the federal cuts we're seeing to any of the programs of WRWC.
Good point.
Got it.
I'm looking at our attorney. We're good with giving direction that way. Thank you. All right. And thank you for that, bringing that up. All right, item number 10, any staff comments?
Just one staff comment, Chairman. Thank you very much, Kim Rigdon. For the record, I just wanted to welcome Cara Steeland back on the board, Member Steeland with Tamwa. I know she's on Zoom, and I sometimes forget she's here because she's so quiet, but welcome, Cara. We appreciate you and looking forward to working for you and with you moving forward.
Thanks, Kim. I'm looking forward to being back on the commission.
All right. Yes. Welcome back, Cara. All right. Thank you for that. All right. We will move on to item number 11, public comment. Do we have any public comment?
We have none.
All right. Then with that, we'll move to item 12, adjournment.
Move to approve.
Motion to adjourn and a second. And with that, we will adjourn. Thank you.